In this video, I'm going to show you how we helped Goucha's Handmade, a Portuguese footwear brand, go from a stalled launch to over 454 in revenue in just 8 months. And here's what makes this one interesting. They scale ad spend by 9x and their ROAS held at 4.5, zero loss of efficiency. Most brands lose 30 to 50% of their ROAS when they scale spend that aggressively. Goucha's didn't. Demand grew so fast we actually sold out their core product. And they started with something most agencies skipped. We did research first. I'll show you exactly how we did it. So first, quick context. Goucha's Handmade is a Portuguese footwear brand founded by Isac. They are built on craftsmanship, conscious production, and timeless design. This isn't fast fashion. This is the kind of brand where every pair of shoe has a story. They had everything you'd want, a great product, a clear brand identity, and real demand. What they didn't have yet was a system to turn paid ads into a real growth engine. Here's where things stood when we started. Isac had been running meta ads through 2024 before us, and then with us from November 2024 onward. And the numbers kept doing this thing that a lot of fashion founders will recognize, hovering somewhere between 10 and 20K a month, and sometimes a good month would break through. The previous peak was 36K, but it wouldn't repeat. The accounts would go back down, and the ceiling would sit there again. It's a frustrating place to be as a founder. You know the product works, you know the demand is there, but you can't figure out why paid ads aren't unlocking the growth you know the brand is capable of. That's exactly where Goucha's was when we started. And here's what Isac had to say about the work. Working with remote creative took Goucha's to the next level. Their strategic vision, professionalism, ability to elevate our brand helped us reach a new level of growth, strengthening our market presence and setting us apart from the competition. The line I want to point out from that is the last one, setting us apart from the competition, because that's actually the heart of what we do at Remote Creative. We don't just try to move numbers, we try to build the kind of brand presence that competitors can't copy through better research, better creative, and better strategic thinking about where the brand should sit in the market. With Goucha's, the 454K in 8 months, the 9x spend scaled at 4.5 ROAS, the sold out products, those are the outcomes. But the reason we could get there is what Isac just described. Strategy first, execution second. That's the order that produces this kind of result. So what was actually holding them back? When we did the deep audit, we found 4 things. First, a conservative acquisition structure. The account was set up in a way that we could sustain small spend, but wasn't built to absorb wheel scale. Every time budget went up, the structure broke. Second, untested creative angles. The creatives looked beautiful on brand, matched the identity, everything, but there was no structured testing to figure out which angles were actually working and converting. Comfort, versatility, craftsmanship, everyday wear. No one had systematically tested which of those messages hit hardest with which buyers. Third, an underperforming product page. Traffic was arriving, but the funnel was leaking value. Clarity, trust signals, mobile friction, small things that add up to a big drop in conversion rate. And fourth, no offer testing. No seasonal mechanics, no AOV levers, no strategic use of drops or promotional windows, which meant every euro of ad spend had to work harder than it needed to. Any one of these on its own would slow a brand down. All 4 together is why Goucha's had been running ads for over a year without breaking through. So here's what we did about it. 5 things, and I want to be upfront. The first 6 months were about finding the route. The next 8 were about running with it. First, we built Meta into a real growth engine. That meant rebuilding the account structure with Advantage Plus campaigns at the core, and Advantage Plus gives you a faster learning, better budget distribution, and much more efficient scaling once data starts accumulating. This is the foundation on everything else sits on. Second, and this is the step most agencies skip, we did a deep research before touching a single creative. We studied similar brands in the market, broke down the hooks and offers that were already winning, mapped how their customers were actually behaving, and looked at their funnel structures. We pulled the golden nuggets, the patterns, the angles, the offer mechanics that were proven, and we used those to shape everything that came next. Instead of guessing what would work for Goucha's, we started from evidence. Third, we ran a structured creative testing until the winners surfaced. Now that we had a research-backed hypothesis, we tested it systematically. Comfort angle, versatility angle, craftsmanship angle, lifestyle angle, everyday wear angle, each one tested against real user intent until we could see clearly which messages resonate with which audience. And fourth, we fixed the funnel. The product page got rebuilt for clarity, trust signals were added, mobile friction got cleaned up, so when the ad spend went up and traffic increased, the funnel actually captured that traffic instead of leaking it. And fifth, we introduced offer testing. The seasonal moments, product drops, promotional windows, used strategically to amplify demand at the right times without distorting baseline performance. Then in May 2025, everything clicked. And here's what happened next. In the 8 months from May 2025 to the end of the year, the account generated 454K in revenue. Monthly average went from around 11 to over 57K. The previous peak was about 36 and it got broken and then broken again with a new peak of 113K in a single month. But here's the number I really want you to focus on. Ad spend during those 8 months scaled 9x and the blended ROAS held at 4.5. And here's a signal I loved pointing out to. During those months, we actually sold out several of their core products. That doesn't happen when ads are just pushing volume. That happens when the right audiences are being reached with the right messages. The demand was real. And here's the lesson from Goucha's, and honestly, the reason I wanted to make this video. Most brands don't have scaling problems, they have a research problem. They push more budget at ads that were never built to scale. They test creatives without a framework. They scale audiences before they've validated a single winning angle, and then they blame the algorithm when it breaks. Goucha's proves the opposite. Do the research, build the system, and when you find the roots, go all in. That's how you turn 11K a month into over 100K a month without ever losing efficiency. So if you are running a D2C fashion or apparel brand between 1 million and 10 million in revenue, and you are spending on Meta, but you feel like you're running the same play Goucha's was running, putting money, but never really finding the route to scale, that's exactly the situation we specialize in. Book a free Meta audit call using the link below this video. You will leave with a clear view of where the growth is hiding in your current ad spend, whether or not we end up working together. Thanks for watching.